Morning, Russell.
Hey, good Monday morning, everyone. And it is back to school for most of us here in Texas. So happy back to school for the parents and the kids. I'm sorry, okay, but we can all do this. We will survive. But you guys listening to Author Talk with me, Amy Russell. Our guest co host today is Dina Ray, and our lovely author guest is Bonnie Swinehart. So, you guys, let's dive into the weekend because you know that in Amy World, it's different every time. So this weekend, I went down to San Antonio to visit my dad. I did a day trip because his birthday is tomorrow. So shout out, happy early birthday to my dad. And so we went and did that. My background is still up because my office is still a mess. I don't know why, but my kids are still putting a bunch of stuff in my office. But I ventured in my cake baking skills this weekend because I am attempting to make an early birthday gift or birthday cake for my daughter. Good morning, Mommy. And so she wants a mermaid cake. And I was like, I watched all these baking shows. And I was like, it's so easy. We're going to do an ombre. We're just going to make like a white bullet. And then we'll do like a light green and then a dark green. And woo, we're done. We can do it. Just pipe it on there. Okay. Miserably. My entire cake is, a sea green. And we're rolling with it. Okay. We're just going to roll with it. It tastes delicious. But
It's a
it
green mermaid.
it is. It's a green mermaid,
A
okay? And this is
sick,
why I
sick
pay for cake.
mermaid.
I know. This is why I pay for cakes. Also, I want you guys to keep Sandy and her husband David in your thoughts and prayers if you pray. Her husband, so they are recovering from COVID. Her husband fell and broke his hand and he has pins in it, so he's going to get that removed. But all in the meantime, she does have like a slipped disc that she did get some kind of shot for last week. Well, the shot only lasted 2 weeks, so she's in a lot of pain and she's on some pain medication. She's going back in on Thursday to hopefully they can kind of help that. But for those of you guys that are new to the show, Sandy is one of the OGs that started this show with Russell that retired 2 years ago. So she is very near and dear to the Author Talk community and just the establishment of Author Talk. So just keep her in your thoughts and prayers, especially for her husband and my husband, because he has to put up with me, as Russell would say. So, other than that, what all did everybody else do this weekend? Who wants to go first?
I'll
Uh,
go.
Go, Dina.
Dina.
Okay, so I worked on the magazine, and I always
Okay.
had to figure out, what the monthly holidays are, or like Fourth of July, stuff like that. So I
Right.
found out that the first Friday in August every year, it changes, is an International Beer Day.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I know I was a week late. So I celebrated International Beer Day on Saturday,
The
on
time is
Friday.
10:03 a.m.
Sorry.
Okay.
And then I stayed in bed all day Saturday with International Hangover Day.
Okay. Okay. I like it. I like it.
So I
Nice.
made a date with myself with uh, some beer and some talkies. So, and I was just on cloud nine. It takes very
Nice.
little to.
My husband would have gladly joined you. He's a beer drinker.
I
I'm
love
not.
I love beer, love margaritas, love gin, love alcohol. That's why
Dina
I
is
don't
a
keep it in my
lover of
house because I'll just drink it all. So I just, yeah. So what about you, Russell?
Well, I shaved.
Oh my gosh, you did.
I got,
Oh, you reached up and
Wow.
grabbed your chin. I thought you said, "Well, I say," and I'm like, "You
Did
say what?"
Melinda finally win or did you want to shave?
she her she had a winning argument this weekend, so I just went and
Oh.
shaved it off. I've had a beard for
Nice.
several years, Bonnie, and
Yeah.
I thought I always looked great, but my wife has never liked it. But then when I shaved, she was like, "I don't know if I like that or not."
That's why you had your camera off
That's
That's
why I had my
why.
camera off,
for the big
Ah,
reveal.
and we're being dive bombed by tiger swallowtail butterflies. Picture, Amy.
I got it. I got
Tiger
it. I'm ready.
swallowtail butterflies live in the forest behind me, and these beautiful creatures that are as big as your hand flutter through our patio because they live in the forest and they're attracted to my cigar smoke. So when I have a cigar, they hoover over the cigar and then land on my legs. And of course, I don't touch them because that would hurt them. So we have these butterflies everywhere. They're just gorgeous.
They're
And
beautiful.
they really are. And this weekend, I received finally from the man that my dad trained to repair watches, and that's what he does for a living now. He just rebuilt my father's jar door World War II pilot chronograph. So this is like a really big deal. This is a really, and it's a big deal in the watch collecting industry. And this was my dad's, and so it's a big deal that I got this redone.
I like it. It's
So
a
that was
big deal because it was your dad's too. I mean, the watch community, but it was your dad's. That's
Right.
awesome.
And I'll give it to one of my sons. And then I just spent the whole weekend playing pickleball and both days until my wife and I couldn't walk anymore. And we collapsed until the next morning.
I love it. Now that
So
I know what it is.
your wife plays pickleball?
Yes, and she's actually getting pretty good. I'm pretty excited about that.
I love it. I love it. Well, Bonnie, what did you do this weekend?
I actually did a lot of coughing and a lot of. I was very sick this week, and so yeah, I'm on antibiotics and steroids for bronchitis. So didn't do a whole lot, but tried to rest and take a lot of cough syrup.
There you go. Hey, cough syrup can work wonders. I never liked how it always made me feel. I always felt drunk, but hey, my migraine medication does the same thing. So, to be fair, my migraine medication does stuff.
Got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. Russell,
Amy,
you're
did you
muted.
see the butterfly land on my screen
I did not.
while Bonnie was talking?
I didn't either. I'm sorry.
I didn't see it either.
Hey, you know what? It's recorded though. I'm gonna go back and watch.
Everybody go back after the show and watch while Bonnie's talking. You can see one of the butterflies come land on the screen.
I love it.
Oh, cool.
I love it. Well, you guys, let's just say that I'm in countdown mode for my daughter's birthday. So I told everybody behind the scenes, but my daughter's birthday is a week from this Friday, which is why I was practicing making that mermaid cake, which is, just awful sitting on my counter. But yes. So we're in countdown mode and we've gone from wanting Blippi to Bluey to now a Little Mermaid. Okay. I'm just saying, for any of those parents out there that have young kids, Bluey is like banging. Okay. That's like our popular show. And the Powerpuff Girls. So I'm just saying that's currently what we're doing. But Russell, yes.
We need to thank the people that listen to us on our podcast. Bonnie, we're rated top 10 independent book podcast in America. We're very grateful about it. Most people don't watch us on Mondays. Most people listen to us on our podcast show during the week while they're driving to work, working out. Here comes a big jet plane. So, Amy, quickly tell us where they can find us.
Yeah, so you guys can find us anywhere that you can listen to a podcast. Apple, Google, Spotify, Amazon, Stitcher, Good Pods, all of those places you can listen to us. But if you want to engage with us live in time and catch my facial expressions, and I talk a lot with my hands because I am a very animated person, you're more than welcome to join us over on our YouTube channel, in our Facebook group, or on any of our social media platforms. We go live on all of our platforms. If you want to come and engage, we love engaging with you guys. So leaving us a comment or a question, we'd love to kind of answer and get that going. But remember, if you want to be a guest on the show, you can do what Bonnie did, which was reach out to me on LinkedIn. It is the quickest way to get a hold of me, is to reach out and send me a direct message, and we will fit you onto the show like we did with Bonnie here today. But other than that, I'm going to kick it to Dina Ray, and let's get Bonnie talking.
You had said that your daughter's birthday is in 4 days.
It is.
My daughter's birthday is in 4 days.
Well, no, it's a week from Friday. Her birthday's the 25th.
Okay, We Bossies is the 18th. I had to think
Nice.
about it. I can't believe it.
Oh,
We haven't done anything for her birthday. We'll go eat Mexican food.
there you go. There
She'll
you
be,
go.
she'll be 14, I think.
Oh boy. Never
So-
had any girls.
So she's
I will
no
pray for
longer
you.
Wee Bossy baby. She's just Wee Bossy.
I like it. I like it.
So, all right. So I've got your bio, Bonnie. And
Yeah.
so you worked as a writer and editor for a publication that you created?
Yes. Right out of I went to college in my later 30s, and right out of college I was offered this position, and I'm the kind of person that, like I'm up for a challenge, and even though sometimes I don't know if I can do something, I'm like positive and I said, sure, I can do that. And yeah, it went from a 2-page flip over to 8 pages every week, and won a governor's award for it.
Well, that's amazing. What did y'all focus on? Just anything that was local, or
No, it was the publication was called Watershed Weekly, so it was environmental related, and I've always been a strong environmentalist, so it kind of fit right in my alley of interest. So just watersheds throughout Pennsylvania, and groups that work to clean up creeks, rivers. Went on.
and you had said that you live in Pennsylvania Dutch country.
Yes.
What is that?
Well,
What is what?
what? Yeah, it's just,
Pennsylvania Dutch country. I've heard it all my life, but now I have a lady that lives in it. I have to ask it. What is it? What does it really mean?
well, in my first book about the Belschnickel, the Belschnickel originated in Germany and came over with the Pennsylvania Dutch people, and so most Pennsylvania Dutch people, well, all probably are of German descent, and so they just settled here in Pennsylvania, and there's so many different sects of Amish and Mennonite that I don't even know the difference. But, some of them strictly horse and buggy, some of them actually use vehicles. They dress a certain way, and like I said, they're farmers. And of course now with land, there's only so much land, so a lot of them are branching out into like woodworking and working in actual factories. But the food is delicious. Pennsylvania Dutch food is delicious.
That's interesting. Well, did that explain it enough for you, Russell?
Yeah, but now I'm dying to know what types of food is Pennsylvania Dutch
That
food.
was my question. That's why I knew it. I was like, what's Pencil Dutch, food? Because all of everybody else knows on this, Bonnie, I don't travel. Texas is big enough for me, so I don't venture out by any means. So I would love to know what kind of food is Pennsylvania
Did
Dutch.
you ever eat shoe fly pie?
No.
Well, that's very, very Pennsylvania Dutch, and a big thing here, as well as, how about whoopie pies? You ever eat a whoopie pie? Oh, wow. Oh, you did? They're delicious, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. They make them now in all different kinds, but normally used to be just chocolate with a thick vanilla filling. And pot pie is another big Pennsylvania Dutch dish, which I make, and you
But
make a dough.
what do you put in your pot pie? Because I feel like everybody puts something different in it.
Well, the pot pie here is not like a pot pie baked crust thing. It's you make the dough and you roll out the dough, and I used to watch my mom and cut it into squares. I usually you can use chicken, you can use ham. I usually use ham. Cook the ham, and then you cut the potatoes and put them in, and then you roll out your dough, cut it into squares, and drop it into the boiling water, and it's delicious.
It's kind of like a empanada, kind of.
Is it? It
Versus-
sounds almost like
It's boiled instead of fried.
It sounds like a stuffed ravioli.
It's
That sounds
not, yeah, it's not stuffed. It's just a dough, really. That it's like if you were rolling out a pie dough, only it's a different consistency. And just cut it into squares, and you drop it in the pot, and it fluffs up a little bit, and it's still, and ham and bean soup
Still
is
sounds
another.
like an empanada to me.
Yeah, and empanada, that it does sound more like that now. Like now that you describe it in that way, but it's too early to talk about food, you guys. At least here, okay? Because I'm hungry, living off tea. Okay, so I'm just throwing it out there. But what is a whoopie pie? Is it just chocolate and cream filling?
It's like a cake. You bake them. You drop the cake batter onto pans, and they puff up, and you use two of them, and in the middle you put this delicious. Normally it would be vanilla, but now they put peanut butter and just about anything you can imagine into them.
Imagine a macaroon, only
bigger.
It's more of cakey instead of cookie.
Yeah.
Like is it similar to like the oatmeal pies that they sell at the grocery store? It's like an oatmeal cookie.
Yeah, that would be yeah.
Kinda.
But thicker, much thicker.
Think more like a Hostess Ding Dong, except instead of being a complete cake with filling, it's a top and a bottom with the filling. It's like an Oreo cookie with cake.
Okay, that's a much better way to describe that. An Oreo cookie with cake. Because I'm a sucker for Oreo cookies, especially double stuffed. So okay, all right. Now I'm driving with you. I understand.
Are you there?
Now, I got it for sure.
Well, how did you make the shift from being a journalist and doing environmental journalism, basically, to writing your first children's book, Benji and the Belsnickel? Is that right? Belsnickel? Did she freeze?
I think she's frozen.
I just want to know, am I saying that right? Is it Belsnickel?
Oh, we lost her. She'll have to come back.
She'll have to come back in.
That name reminds me, Dina, of The Office, when Dwight would talk about all that Dutch, Pennsylvania.
I never
stuff.
watched The Office.
I'm driving with Russell. That's why I muted myself, because I started to laugh.
All of this sounds like stuff that Dwight in The Office talked about his family.
He was so into it.
I hope she finds her way back. Here she is.
There I am.
Is it Belsnickel?
Yes.
Okay.
Kind of like Belsnickel.
Yeah.
It's like.
Well, my last name's Schoenfeld, so I got it. I got it. So, how did you go from doing environmental journalism to writing Benji and the Belsnickel?
Well, I worked after Watershed Weekly. I moved on and worked as a reporter for 3 newspapers. And in 2007, I was in a really serious auto crash where somebody rear-ended me at like 65 miles an hour in an SUV, and changed my life dramatically. No longer able to work full-time or really even part-time, and faced a series of operations, and it was a really low point in my life, and I had to somehow regroup, because I mentioned earlier I like a challenge. And so I pulled out a lot of my old writings that I had done earlier, children's writings, and I actually came across this one that I did. Um, I thought, I can maybe turn this into a book, and that's how it all began. And that was my lifetime dream, really, to write and publish a book. And so, I'm a strong believer in God, and I just feel like it was God took me down that path for a reason. And so there you have it.
So, well, tell me about Benji and the Belschnickel. What's the premise behind it?
Okay, well, the Belschnickel, like I said, in Germany, and it's actually the opposite of Santa Claus. He visits kids that need a little help behaving, does not hurt them, but puts a scare into them. And my parents both went to one-room schoolhouses in the 1930s, which is the time period for the book. And my dad used to tell me stories about the pranks they pulled on their teacher. And so I combined the two ideas together with the prankster and the Belschnickel. And then he was a big time prankster, and eventually he gets threatened by a visit from the Belschnickel.
So we know about the Belschnickel, Dina. That is actually a character in The Office that comes to harass the children. And so, and it's one of the best episodes because it's so bizarre.
Yeah, a lot. I mean, I hear that all the time. Oh, it's like The Office. I'm like, yeah, kind of.
Well, see, I would never say that because, never watched The Office. Sorry. I feel like I'm missing out on some major part of
You
life.
should have watched it while it was on Netflix, because I used to say I hadn't seen The Office either, and I had to, like, I don't know, it took me 2 or 3 episodes to really get into it, and then I could, like, binge watch it while it was on Netflix. So you missed out. You should definitely look into it because it's like gold mine. It's
on
fabulous.
Amazon Prime now.
Yeah, it's great.
Well, see, that just means that I can't watch, Murder and Mayhem with, my daily Dateline benches. So and Court TV. Sorry, I'm so boring. So you wrote the book Benji and the Belschnickel, and
Yes.
What's the age range for this?
The ages 7 and up, and 7 would be for a pretty advanced reader. They're good read aloud books. And I sell as many books to adults as I do kids because they love there's a lot of history from the 1930s that wind through the books, and they love reminiscing and remembering those times.
Well, the cover is very, very cute. It won't stay on the cover. Why won't it stay on the cover? I'm looking at it on Amazon, and it's very, you don't see the actual character, you see a silhouette of him. I like how that's done. I think that's an adorable cover.
Thank you. Yeah, I love all the covers. I think this, of course, that brands me because the silhouettes are in all of my books and all my covers.
And is it an illustrated book?
She's frozen. I think I have the right book though. Here, I'll pull it up while she bounces back. Is it this one?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
Nice. In the 1930s. I like it. I like it. Russell.
I'm dying to ask her, and Dina, if when she gets back, I would love for you to ask her how you were starting down that when you were asking if it was illustrated. Because I would love to hear who she got as an illustrator. Was it?
Well, the reason I ask is because she's got someone listed as an illustrator for it, Zoe White. So I don't know if it had, I looked at the, look inside, and it had like one illustration right when you open it up, but I don't know if there's multiple illustrations. Like y'all had Ann Charles on, and Ann Charles will have an illustration in hers. Now hers aren't for children by any stretch of the imagination, because she's got some wild and willy boom in it. But
Hey, Bonnie.
Hey,
so
I'm back.
I was asking, are there illustrations in the book? Okay.
There are.
Okay, there are.
And actually, my editor daughter did illustrations.
So, well, yeah, we were talking while you were hung up that there's a couple of books that I read that has illustrations in them, just to show a scene. So I didn't know if yours had that, not necessarily be a picture book per se, but just have like a scene that has an illustration of it.
Yeah, I think it makes it a lot more interesting, and when the kids see them, it also teaches them what it was like back in that time period. For instance, in the I think it's in the Belschnickel book, there's an illustration of a library, a horse-drawn.
She's leaving me in suspense. I'm
I
telling
know.
you, I'm in suspense.
Well, it looks like she's got 3 books in the Benji series. She's got Benji and the Belschnickel, Benji
Right.
and the County Fair, and then Benji and the Paper Route Mystery.
Is it just me that's getting lost?
Yeah.
That's okay.
So I see that you've got 3 books. That it's Benji and the County Fair, Benji and the Belschnickel, and Benji and the Paper Route Mystery. Do they need to be read in order? And does what's the time frame for them? Do they all take place in the same year? Are they
It's the time frame now. The year does change, and the characters do age, but they do not. I mean, I wrote them that they did not have to be read in any kind of order, but it helps because it shows that the time has passed, but it's not. You don't have to.
so? Well, you said that you had goats in the second one.
Yeah, the County Fair book. Benji's goal in that book was he wanted to buy a brand new bicycle, but if you recall, the 1930s was Depression time, and so Benji knew if he was going to get a bike, he'd have to earn his own money. And on the last day of school, he comes home, and his dad surprises him with 3 very ornery goats, and says, "It's your job. You got to take care of them." Well, in that book, the goats are the pranksters, and they keep him moving. Very funny scenes.
Excellent. I don't know. I think I might like to read those. And do your books have a Christian message in them?
They do. They all do. The first one is the least, but yeah, I mean, in that time period too, I mean, church was a big social activity. I mean, they lived in mostly farms that were scattered, and so Sundays was a get together, not just a church service, but a get together for people to talk, and so it was a very important time. And so yeah, and as the books go on, he does rely more and more on God to help him make good decisions, and uses in the last book, The Paper Route Mystery. He used his Bible verses to try to help him figure out what to do, how to solve this mystery. And so, yeah, they all have a Christian message to them.
So it's wholesome, clean fun.
It is. They're very fun. They're very adventurous. The Belschnickel has a touch of mystery to it. The second one is just hilarious. And the third one is a complete mystery, because I wanted to challenge myself to do something different for the third one, and I never wrote a mystery. And so it has a lot of twists and turns in it. And everybody that has read it so far has said, I never saw it coming.
Well, that's good if people that read mysteries say they never saw it coming. They didn't see that final twist. So, well, because
Nope.
that's one thing that I usually ask authors when I interview them is, is there a genre that you don't write that you would like to? And so you've already stepped out and wrote a mystery, which was something. Is there another genre that you would like to try your hand at writing?
Yeah, actually, there's several. I actually have written several picture books. They're multicultural picture books. One has been in the process of being.
We're in suspense.
I think she does it on purpose so that
I'm telling you,
we're hanging.
It is.
Waiting.
I'm one of those people. I'm not gonna lie, but I am like a completionist, and so you really get me in suspense when it's like mid sentence. I'm just like, what the hell's coming? Like, what the hell is your, like, what is it? Like, I'm one of those people. So you can't do cliffhangers with me for shows, and I can't watch the next show because I get all mad. And I'm just like, well, this is just wrong. This is wrong on so many levels, So I'm just, it's a flaw of mine. Okay, I'm not perfect. I know. But
I actually don't think it's a flaw, especially considering your profession. I think it's a really good thing that you're a completionist.
Oh, well, thanks,
continuity.
Well, because I was gonna say I'm not perfect, and I know that's hard for everybody to believe. Okay, but I am not perfect by any means. But no, I'm telling you, that's why I can't
if she let the Bible in the third book and the second book guide her character, I wonder if she let the Bersnickel in the first book be the guide.
Maybe. Well, she's back, so let's ask her that.
Okay.
Funny.
Hey, I'm back again.
Hey, trying
Russell.
To build up suspense.
You are. Russell has a question for you, and I think I'm very curious about the answer. So, Russell, go ahead.
Okay.
Is it pronounced Bersnickel? Is that the right way to pronounce it?
Are you talking about the Belschnickel?
Yeah, Belschnickel. Okay, you said in the second two books, your character uses scripture to help him during the book. Is it the Bersnickel that helps the character during the first book? Is that who's guiding him during the first book to punish all the children?
No, I wouldn't. Well, I mean, definitely the Belschnickel was the lead of the book, and yes, the message through him is, to make better, for Benji to make better decisions, and to realize that even though pranks can be funny, they also can hurt people, and so it gives him a new perspective on his behavior. Does that answer?
Well, does the Bersnickel hit him with a branch the way they do on The Office?
No, he doesn't. And actually, sometimes it's branches, and sometimes it's in my case, the Belschnickel had a small whip. And I'm giving away some of the book, but he uses the whip to smack the floor next to him, which is to scare him, but he never does anything to hurt him. And in fact, there is a twist to that, which I'd be giving away some more of the story if I tell you.
Well, don't give away the story. We want people to buy the book. And so the books are middle grade mainly, but
Yes.
it's basically all ages can read it.
Yes. Yep. I actually have an event tomorrow, which is all adults, and which I've done several times because, and they're more, although they're about the books, they're also more about my my road to get to where I did, through the car crash, and I kind of have a speech. It's called "Finding My Wings" because when I told you I went through my writings, and when I found that piece on the Belschnickel, it was like, yeah, I found my wings, and that's what has made me fly again. So
I like it. Well, I know we're all about encouraging writers, and that's why I was so interested on kind of how your journey was in becoming a published author. And, sometimes some unfortunate events lead you down the path of what you currently are on, which is publishing your books, which you always wanted to do. So I've always find those to be so kind of fascinating and just inspiring in a sense to that. But the question that I do have is, what is kind of, besides, your accent and stuff, that pivotal moment where you're like, I'm going to write this book and I'm going to publish it. And what was that publishing journey like for you? Did you publish it yourself? Did you go through a publishing house? Did you hybrid? What was your publishing journey for your first book? Because it changes every book, but the first book really sets the tone, and it didn't scare you away because you've published other ones since then. So what was your first publishing journey like?
Well, I attended writing conference every year, and the one year that I went, I took like my first chapter of the Belschnickel book, and one of the things we do is break up into little critique groups, and this one was on children's writing, and there's somebody that always oversees the group. And when I got there was only myself and one other person, and she didn't bring anything along at all to read. So it was just the two of us. So I ended up reading the whole chapter of my first book, and the person that was overseeing it said, I want that for my children. And she was an editor, and she actually ended up giving me a contract for the book. And so it is through a small Christian editor, and as are my other two books, and and also a study guide that I wrote for homeschoolers.
Okay, yeah. So maybe you can clear this up for me. Did you publish them yourself, and you just had an editor that is specific for Christian books, or is it a Christian publishing house that published your books?
Yeah, it's a Christian publishing house. Yeah, it's called White Spark. It's a small publishing house, but yeah, I did not self-publish them, but in the future, with my picture books, it may be something that I will be considering.
Yeah. See, I love self-published, small press authors. That's my realm. If Mickey was on the show, Russell will tell you he works with everybody. USA Today, New York Times bestseller, big traditionally published authors, but small presses and indie authors is my sweet spot. It's where my love is, and I feel like there's a lot of really great writers and books and stories within that classification, I guess, is how it's kind of positioned within the writing community. So don't be afraid of self-publishing. I will help you along the way for your picture books, because those are so much fun to do. But I think other than that, let's do closing comments, questions, statements. Russell, you're unmuted.
I'm
first.
sorry I had to take off. I had a senior dog crisis that I had to take care of.
Oh, it's okay. We are dog friendly over here.
You know,
Okay, dogs
Lucy
for the world.
usually is sitting right next to me during the show, and she had to get in. But thank you very much for coming, Bonnie. I could talk. I wish we could talk about food from Pennsylvania Dutch for a lot longer because I want to know more about pot pies.
Yeah.
I know that sounds funny, Dina. When I was in law school, I was so poor, I could only afford to buy a 69-cent pot pie one a night for dinner. So
Yeah.
I've eaten like 1,000 pot pies.
Like the Marie Calendar individual ones?
No, he's
Yes.
talking about the banquet ones that are. I think they're
No,
99
I would
cents
spend
now.
extra money. I'd spend the extra 10 cents to get the double crust beef pot pie instead of the single crust. They're 10
Yeah.
cents more back then.
Hey,
I
I
don't
tell you
know.
what, sometimes there's nothing wrong with the banquet pot pie. I don't care if they're only 99 cents a piece.
I've never had a beef pot pie. I've only had chicken. I've had shepherd's pie.
Well,
I've
you've never
had
been
a beef
poor
one.
enough, Amy. If you're poor, you eat that. That's how I got through
been
law
poor.
school.
I have been poor, so I feel you. I understand 100%. Dina, closing questions, statements, comments from you.
Well, I like Marie Callender's
So do I.
pot pies that has the mushrooms in it.
Yep, that one's good
So now that we're talking about food, Russell, thank you very much. Now I'm hungry. I think I'm fasting today. So
Glad to be back.
Welcome back, Bonnie. Well,
we were just talking about food.
We are just closing out. Russell was talking. He wishes that he could talk to you more about Pennsylvania Dutch food because, you know, he just is dying to know all about it and make the rest of us hungry up in here for talking about pot pies up in here. But no, Bonnie, we want to thank you so much for taking time out of your morning, after mid-afternoon, early afternoon to come and talk and hang out with us and let us kind of know about your publishing journey and your books and kind of what that has looked like for you. But you guys, we hope that everybody has a fantastic Monday, a great rest of the week, and we will catch you all next Monday morning.